did you know, or how did you first sense that ministry was going to be a part of your life? And I partly asked that question because we want these videos to be helpful for those who are wrestling with the same types of things.
Had someone told me when I was growing up that I would someday in the ministry, I would say that person needs to be committed. As we discussed it, I grew up on an Iowa farm, raised in a little open country Methodist church, Sunday school, you know. Then went off to college and graduated right into the middle of the Korean War. I considered staying in the military, but I thought to myself, this needs to be done apparently, or we wouldn't be doing it. At least someone smarter than I has made the decision. This needs to be done. So I will do it as long as I have made the commitment to do it, but then I'll leave. And that's what I did.
So what took you to Panama was the military?
My husband was in the Army.
Was military, okay.
And they sent him there, and he was involved in Bible studies, and I was involved with the women with Bible studies, with Americans on the whole. It got to the time when my husband's military duty was over, and people around us said, you ought to stick around.
We worked in local churches. We always were active in a local church and helped to start some churches, but our most important ministry was really helping train leaders. And the thing that impresses me is that God is calling just wonderful men and women to be leaders in the church in Latin America.
So because I was doing that, I didn't stay in the Air Force and went to work eventually for the state of California in Sacramento, California, real estate appraiser, and became involved with the Presbyterian Church right across the street. I would take my lunch and go over there and so forth. Got to know the people and so forth, and then became members there, and then went from there in about 2 years I guess, to seminary.
Before actually leaving for Germany, how did you know missions was going to be a part of your life?
Well, we went to Bible school, and through that we knew that this was what the Lord wanted us to do.
And there was something in you that the Lord led to say, yeah, this is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, it started very early. I accepted the Lord when I was 4, but I didn't remember. But when I was 10, I was to be a camper myself. Not work in the kitchen or anything else, but to be a camper myself.
You got to go be a camper. At what age?
10 years.
10.
And the Lord used that in my ministry, that, praise the Lord, I accepted him as 4. Praise the Lord, at 10 this question came from a counselor. Are you 100% sure that you are a Christian? And she told me a child's story of a boy who went home and said, Mom, am I a Christian? And the mom said, well, if you're not sure, you ought to make sure.
That I teach in 7th grade. My wife and I were teaching a 7th grade Sunday school class, and that became more significant than what I was doing the other 6 days of the week.
Wow.
Well, one of the circumstances that we had just really made a rededication of our lives. Dorothy had just really come to know the Lord in a personal way, and so during that time, then started our horizons broadened. And we got interested in doing something else. And I was working in San Francisco, and I went to Christian businessmen's community meetings. Okay. And at one of the meetings, we had a man come who had done a short-term missions trip to Guatemala. So he came back and told what he had done, helped the translator to improve his living conditions, and I thought, you know, that's something I could do.
I actually didn't come to know the Lord until I was 22, and I was actually introduced into a good, solid, Bible-believing church at that time, and almost immediately I sensed the Lord was moving me towards going to college, which I had never considered even.
And I did not have a call for mission.
I was going to ask you that. Did you have, when it was time to switch and study the Bible?
I had no call for ministry.
No sense of what was next.
Right. I just knew I needed more Bible, have a call to ministry. But in the last year of seminary, we met a man Bob Raymer, who had been in India for 5 years in an industrial school run by the Presbyterian Church. And so I said, I think that's something I can do.
So everything about that meeting just made sense. Made
God
your background, your training.
God gave it meaning all the way through.